let's now start to finalize the watchman's motion. We'll start by selecting our character set and making sure that that's going to be set back to plateau. Alright, and we'll also make sure we keep our graph editor open. What I also like to do, let's go ahead and turn off the character set now, since we're going to be just focusing on our control objects individually and looking at the keys that only are associated with that certain control. But what I also like to do is select the camera and make sure that its attributes are going to be locked, that we've animated, so that we don't accidentally move it and mess up its movement. Okay, now once this has been done, we can go back to the control objects, and we'll also adjust our range, okay, to about, let's say, 120. So we're going to split this up into pieces so that it doesn't seem overwhelming. Alright, so now what we basically want to do is look at, alright, what are we trying to achieve? What are we hoping to create in this animation? Well, starting in this first section here, we basically don't want the watchman to notice us or notice the camera until he takes a quick glance at the corner of his eye. So knowing that, let's go ahead and select this head control, and we'll go to about frame 3 so we can basically add a little bit of movement here prior to him turning his head. You can go to frame 3 and middle click on frame 20 and press Shift E to lock in the rotation there. So now he starts to turn his head a little bit later. And then let's go to about, let's say, frame 24 or so and have him take a quick glance over. Okay. So he takes his glance and then he notices us, but we're going to give him a little bit of time to recognize us before he actually goes to this pose we have on about frame 40. So for that, we're actually going to have him do a little head shake before he gets to this pose. So on frame 26, let's add a little bit of movement where he rotates his head back just slightly. Okay, and then we'll have him hold there on that frame, just looking around, and then at about that time, we'll want to go ahead and select his eyebrows and have him raise, because he's going to acknowledge us. So on 25, let's go ahead and press Shift W with the to lock in a pose for the eyebrows. And then about 27, we'll raise them up all the way so he sees us. And now a couple of frames after, on 29, we'll have him close his eyes, go back to the head control, and then on the same frame we could have him rotate his head down. We could even hit F to frame the curve, but we'll rotate it down and a little bit more to his right, and then we'll have him look over at us a little bit sooner than he is right now. Let's take this key on, or take the pose on 38 and have it happen a little bit sooner. To have it happen at about maybe 34, so we'll middle click on 34 and press Shift E. So that way we don't take the same pose on frame 40 and have the motion just still. So let's see how this looks. We hit play. Alright. And if you like, you could even go ahead and hide the camera if that's being a distraction. Oh. Go ahead and just hide the camera. And let's go ahead and just hit play to see how this looks. Okay, so he takes a quick glance at us. And we do need to animate the chest too. As the head's moving, that the chest is also going to be moving along with it as well. So let's add a little bit of offset here. We'll go to 27 and move this up to about 25. And on 25, let's have the chest rotate a little bit as the head's rotating. And then before that, on frame, let's say frame 20, we'll have it rotate the opposite direction so that there's no real anticipation to him turning. Then as he moves his head down, we'll go to frame 30, rotate the chest just slightly down. It's not going to move too much. And then as he looks at us, we have him moving back at about frame 40. Let's see how this looks as we hit play. Alright, great. So this is coming together. Alright, excellent. And we'll just continue to just scrub back and forth to see if we like the results that we're getting. Probably select the head control and add a little bit of movement here. The movement's actually pretty nice. Maybe on about frame 50 we could have it rotate a little bit more to the right. Alright, great. So just getting a feel of who this character is and how he's going to move. Now for the arms, we're going to want to address those so that they're not just slowly going to its rest pose. We'll actually want them to hold, have a moving hold. So let's go ahead and select the finger controls, the arm controls, and the elbows. And what we basically want here is to basically have again, a moving hold with the arms. So we can go to about a point where they're moving slightly, like let's say about 45. Let's middle click on about, let's say 53, and just press S to lock in their moving there, so that there's just some slight motion going on. Hit play. Alright, great. So now the timing is going to be a little bit better to where he actually rests into his next pose, leaning up against the wagon. Now on this frame, on 53, it looks like the right arm could move a little bit more than it is right now. So let's have that just move up a little bit more. We could even add a little bit of rotation to it as well. And then we could even go to the finger controls and have them closed a little bit more. So we'll select, as we've been doing, just selecting the last 3 attributes for the fingers, closing them in, going to the thumb and maybe closing that in a little bit too. And let's see how this looks. Okay, so we can go to our shot camera and hide our, not the NURB objects, but the NURBS curves, and hit play. Alright, great. So our timing is looking quite well already. What's happening now is that he's looking down. He's resting quite nice into, I suppose, as he's leaning against the cardboard, but his eyes are moving incorrectly as he does look down. He's supposed to look at us and then shift his eyes down as the cardboard starts to fall. So we need to correct that, and we have a few more poses to fix up for this section. But we're making good progress already. We'll stop the lesson here and in the next lesson continue working on this section.